Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's executive meeting of the executive. I'm chairing the meeting in absence of Hazel, as Hazel is unwell. A few house rules. The meeting this evening will be live streamed to the public. The induction loop is now in operation in the chamber. A recording of the public part of the meeting will be available on the council's website within 24 hours of the meeting. Would members and officers please remember to switch microphones on when speaking and speak directly into them, and switch off when finished. Any officers called upon by the portfolio holder should address the executive using the presenting officer microphones at the rear of the council chamber. Please switch off mobile phones or place on silent, please. So there's no planned fire drill today. In that instance, if the fire, please turn left, follow the green emergency exit signs to the main town hall entrance and proceed to the assembly point in St. George's Square. Members of the public are entitled to take photographs, film, audio record and report on all public meetings in accordance with the openness of the local government body's regulation. People may not, however, act in any way considered to be disruptive and may be asked to leave. Any apologies for absence?
Yes, Chair, we have apologies from Councillor Begum and Councillor Simmons.
Noted, thank you. Any disclosures of interest? Yep. But firstly, I would like to welcome Councillor Javeria Hussain to the executive, children a portfolio holder for education. Thank you, welcome. Any disclosure of interests? No. Any business not covered by forward plan? None. So we move over to now the minutes. Can I sign the minutes? Okay, is that a true record? Anybody? Fine. Right, now we move on to item 3.2. And Maria, I believe you're taking this item.
Thank you. For executive to approve a retrospective 18-month direct award to Westminster Care to continue to provide extra care services to our residents at 2 locations, Jill Jenkins and Betty Dodd. The contract with Westminster Care to provide extra care services started on the 10th of February 2015. The original contract duration was 3 years plus 2 years extension. We're now seeking authorization to complete a retrospective direct award to Westminster Care for 18 months to cover the last 6 months of provision and a further 12 months to allow for continuity of care and to allow for in-depth commissioning activity to be conducted. The Director of Adult Social Care Services is here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Any questions? David, you'd like to go first, then I'll call you Tom.
I just wondered, Chair, whether someone might like to explain why nobody noticed the contract expired until 6 months after it had.
Would you like Maria to respond now, or would you like Jill to respond to that? Jill, can you respond to that?
Yeah, I'm happy to respond. Yeah, absolutely. This is not a situation that we want to find ourselves in, and obviously it's not helpful to be in this position. There has been significant changes in our commissioning and procurement teams over the last period, and we actually uncovered this error by the result of bringing new staff into the portfolio. So we have sent our deepest apologies for this happening. And have now reviewed all of our contracts to ensure that will not happen again. But essentially, it was due to human error and not due care and attention.
Councillor Shaw.
Yeah, when we get the report back, can we ensure that there's an option being considered about pitching the service in-house and what the costs would be on a level playing field with the private sector.
Jill, can you respond to that?
Yeah, within the options appraisal for our procurement strategy, we're happy to address that. Thank you, Tom.
In-house.
Thank you. So item is beyond. Does any executive member deny it, or is it agreed? Agreed. Thank you. We now move on to item 5.1. I believe Councillor Malik, you're dealing with this.
Thank you. On the meeting of the 19th of September 2023, the Health and Social Care Review Group received a reference from the executive requesting that they look at how the licensing and planning legislation can be used to deal with levels of obesity and the number of takeaway outlets in the town, and report back to executive. The HSCRG agreed to take the executive's request further, requesting Public Health Planning and Licensing to submit a joint report to the group, detailing the current situation and how the licensing process could be used to regulate takeaway food outlets with the particularity and potential of using that legislation. Members anticipated that this would introduce consideration of health into the planning process. I would ask the health and social recommendations to the health and social care. The health and social care request the executive to look at. So the recommendation there for us to look at the health and social care request the executive to look at past decisions, executive 31st to the 17th made on prohibiting planning permission for takeaways and fast food establishments in close proximity to schools.
Thank you, Councillor Malik. I welcome this report. Any questions? Any member have a question?
Yeah, Chair, I'm wondering again whether the executive is the appropriate place for this to have been sent, and whether it might have been better addressed to either Development Management Committee or to the local government working party that's currently looking at revisions to the local plan.
Councillor Malik, would you like to respond to that?
I'm sure it wouldn't. It could be taken there as well.
So are we, Councillor Malik, are we saying we're going to send it there as well, or are you agreeing to send it there?
I would ask the rest of my groups. Yeah, I think it could go to the planning as well, if everybody agrees with that.
Okay, thank you. We'll take that board and we'll send it to the
local work planning group.
Yep, we'll send it to them as well. Thank you. Anybody else? The motion is for the recommendation in front of you. Anybody disagree? Thank you. So I'm taking item 8. The executive is recommended to approve the policy attached appendix A to this report. The most recent inspection by the IPCO took place in July 2023, and the inspector required a number of minor amendments to be made to the council policy in order to bring it up to date. The objective of this report is to ensure that the council's policy remains relevant, appropriate, and up to date. And I'll welcome any questions.
Sorry, it's me again. There used to be a system whereby there was an annual report on the council's use of its powers under this act. I can't remember where it went, whether it came to executive or to one of the scrutiny bodies. I'm just wondering whether it's appropriate for Angela to some convenient moment to let me know whether the practice is continuing and where it is reported.
Mark, can you respond to Councillor Frank's question?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can indeed. The report is made to Audit and Governance Committee, and the last report was made in July this year. Happy to provide Councillor Franks with a copy of that report if you'd like it. Thank you. The report is in front of you.
Councillor Javeria.
Thank you very much, Chair. Just wanted to clarify something with the monitoring officer. In the actual procedures and policy, there are various words and phrases that have been underlined. I'm presuming those are the track changes, or are there further documents behind that and policies and procedures? For example, if you go to page 32, I'm just picking out an example here under director's surveillance with new limitations. Bullet point 2 or bullet point 1, I should say, under 4.3 says for the purpose of a specific operation. I'm presuming that's either what's been changed, or that's reference to another document, or it's it could be a definition.
Yes, it's most likely a definition or a hyperlink.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, it would be useful if perhaps going forward, if there are any documents that are changed, that you can also provide a tracked version so we can follow that.
The changes are set out in the body of the report.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The report is in front of us. Are we all agreed? Item 9, I believe, Rob, Councillor Roach.
Thank you, Chair. The Corporate Performance Report compiles and presents both quarterly and annual service data, which allows performance to be monitored and discussed at CLMT, overview and scrutiny and executive prior to headlines being published to staff and citizens. 44 measures are green, 7 are amber and 13 are red, which shows that overall performance is good and improving. The highlights are the percentage and number of homeless acceptances are within target levels of 16% in Q1. The number of homeless relief is on track to meet the annual target with 96 in Q1. The number of homeless households allocated a permanent offer through the housing register Q1, a figure of 55, is above the quarterly target. The number of affordable homes started on site has exceeded the quarterly target. The number of affordable new homes completed Q1, figure of 31, is above the quarterly target. The proportion of registered care services good or outstanding Q1, 82%, is within target levels. Complaints relative to the size of the landlord Q1 figure is lower than the quarterly target, which indicates a good performance. The percentage of hospital discharges within timescales, social care assessments completed within 42 days is on target. The number of London Luton Airport passengers Q1 is above the quarterly target. The timelessness of benefits, new claims and changes are both within target levels. The timelessness of council tax reduction changes is within target levels. Adult social care financial assessments debt recovery is on target. Adult social care financial assessments timeline to process charges Q1 figure is within target levels. The number supported or amount awarded with discretionary housing payments is within target levels. The amount awarded with the household support grant is within target levels. The number of newly approved foster carers in Q1 is on track to meet the annual target. The percentage of attendance in state-funded primary and secondary schools are both on target. The percentage of children attending good and outstanding schools, including looked after children, are all on target. The number of children subject of a child protection plan Q1 is above the quarterly target. The percentage of housing stat compliance completed within timescales, the percentage of housing statutory compliance completed within timescales are within target levels. Fire safety is slightly below target. This was primarily due to actions being issued to other departments to be completed and responses evidence required to upload to the services system. These have now been resolved and the figure is once again on target. The percentage of corporate statutory compliance completed within timescales are all on target. The amount of council tax collected is within target. The unemployment rate has been falling steadily and has dropped from 6.7% to 4.7% in Q1. As adults in contact with secondary mental health services who are in employment Q1 is above the quarterly target. The total business rates due and total business rates collected is within target. We don't have an officer here this evening. If anybody has a question, we do have narratives in the report in front of you. If there are any questions, we'll not be able to answer them unless some officers are here. We'll ask the Democratic Service to let us know the questions, or we'll respond after the meeting if that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Roche. Any questions? The report is in front of us. Are we all agreed? Item 10, over to you, Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. I'm seeking the approval of the executive to reprofile the Butterfield reserves. This is to enable us to appoint an economic growth service manager to March 2025. It's important to note that the Butterfield reserve is entirely ring-fenced to economic growth and funds part of the inclusive growth service delivery, but it also funds projects and initiatives as we work to achieve our prosperous and thriving economy for Luton. These funds cannot be used for other work. Back in 2019, the economic growth and skills work was merged to sit under one service manager. However, following the additional funding from the government for skills, Multiply and UKSBF, the apprenticeship brokerage scheme and new skills commissioning team, the demands on the service manager have increased. In addition, with the refresh of our inclusive economy strategy, Luton's promotion to the Premier League and the rollout of Step Forward Luton, including a new business and investment officer and wider town activation, there is need for us to appoint a dedicated service manager who will oversee these work streams. Initially, when we closed down our economic recovery plan in March 2025, Luton hadn't been promoted to the Premier League, which has also opened doors and interest in our town, leading to several economic opportunities we need to progress at pace, which also supports our case for needing to introduce the post and reprofile the spend. Following the refresh of the 2040 vision, the service is now working on a refresh of the inclusive economy strategy to align with the updated priorities, but also to take into account that we are now moving away from recovery and into delivery of new projects, including UKSBF and Multiply, the rollout of Step Forward Luton, Place Activation Plan and Town Centre Strategic Board. As set out above, the football club being promoted to the Premier League has seen the national spotlight on Luton and providing many economic opportunities, which we are actively exploring. This post and reprofiling of funding would give much needed strategic support to drive forward our inclusive economy strategy and progress any economic opportunities that come our way. The post can initially be funded until March 2025. This is from the Butterfield Reserve, which is ring-fenced for economic development activity. After this, we would need to explore further funding opportunities. However, it would enable us to maximise the opportunities coming our way and work with our stakeholders to deliver a refreshed and inclusive economy town-wide strategy. This proposal is at no cost to the council budget and is being fully funded by the Butterfield ring-fenced reserves. All recommendations completely align with our 2040 vision and allow us to deliver at pace our inclusive economy strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Any member have any questions? The report is in front of us. Are we all agreed? Thank you. Now we move on to item 11, which you, Councillor Shaw.
Said that we want to get young people involved in climate change. Didn't realise how difficult it would be that we had to change the constitution of the climate change board and change times, but now it's all done. And we've got 4 people from the youth council want to sit on the climate change board. We've got to change the time of the meeting from 6 to 5 to fit in with them leaving school and getting home at a reasonable time. I welcome it. And first time in this council that we got young people who'd be more affected by climate change than any of us actually taking part in our discussions and decisions as well. So I hope everyone can support it.
So my thanks and well done to everybody involved. Any members, any questions? The report is in front of us. Any members disagree? Agreed. Thank you. We now move on to item 12. Councillor Shaw, I believe that's you again.
We've tried education through schools, we've tried leaflets, we've tried adverts on the sides of all the bin wagons, we've tried everything you think you can do, going around schools, going around the mosques, going around churches, talking about waste and how to clean the town up. I'm not going to apologise for saying it. The council don't throw the litter on the ground. We've got people all over the town that don't care. What we have got now is if you walk around the town centre, you'll see how much cleaner the town centre is now, and how much cleaner it is in other parts of the town where our enforcement people, what we employed, going round and doing the job we paid them to do. We've got 1,500 bins in the town. In the next 2 or 3 weeks, we expect to hit 1,500 pin notices issued to people. When we do, we need to make a lot of publicity about it. Let's take the gloves off. What I'm proposing tonight is fines for littering going up from £150 or £75 if you pay it on the spot to £500, but keep the £75 if you pay it on the spot. Graffiti, putting that to £500 as well, the maximum we can do. But if you pay your fine on the spot, 75 quid. Fly tipping, going from £400, 250 if you pay it when you get caught, up to £1,000. With no apologies. If you pay your 250 on the spot, that's it. Household duty of care offence going up from £400 to £1,000. What we've got 117 notices issued under duty of care and CPNs. But there's been 18 prosecutions in court. The problem is that £5,400 fines in court so far, we don't get it. That goes into the court system. So we prefer people paying their pin notices or their on-the-spot fines to us, because at least we keep them. And there's been 3 arrest warrants issued. What people haven't bothered when we've caught them turning up at court. Let's stop apologising for it. They've fly tipped, they've dumped the rubbish, we've caught them. They think they can get away with not appearing in court. So arrest warrants have been issued for those 3 people. I hope everyone can support it. Let's get on with it. And the people that dump rubbish realise we're coming after you. We're going to catch you. When we do catch you, we're going to hit you in the pocket, and we're going to hit you very hard in the pocket. Instead of you just getting away with 75 quid, now it's going to be hundreds of pounds. And we will catch people. So when they come to you moaning about how big the fine is, like some phone calls I've had off councillors, not apologising. You dumped it, you pay the fine. Simple as that. We want the rest of the town as clean as the town centre is looking at the moment. If we have to fetch people in to do it, we will fetch people in to do it. But we are now determined to clean Luton up. And if it means people are going to have to pay through the nose because they throw rubbish on the floor, let them. I hope everyone can support what we're doing.
Thank you, Councillor Shaw. And as short, simple moral to the story, don't do the crime, don't pay the fine. Yeah. Any members have any questions? Councillor Saleem?
Thank you. Yes, it's a good strategy. We've got the surveillance that we've just agreed to. Could we tie up the surveillance with fly tipping? Because there are some hotspots in Biscot Ward where they know they fly tip, it gets taken away. The council knows where it's going to be. It gets reported, gets taken away. But it's almost predictable that those particular corners, you know, outside certain shops, outside certain bins, people leave quite large things there. They just fly tip. We know where the repeating areas are. So can we use surveillance to try and enforce that?
There is going to be some extra cameras. We will use surveillance, but no one now. We don't pick fly tipping up now without searching through it with cameras, body-worn cameras, to see if we can gather any evidence at all to prosecute people. We don't just pick it up anymore. The crews go there to have a look, and if they can get the evidence, we're taking them to court. And they wear body-worn cameras to help gather that evidence. And every bit of fly tipping we pick up now, we hope to get that crew to it and gather any evidence they can, and we'll prosecute straight away.
Any other further questions? Councillor Franks?
Yeah, thank you. Are there any plans to, what's the right word to use here? Energise the council's press office into far more press releases to local and regional media when people are caught, because that's that's one of the ways in which you are going to have some, you'll certainly reinforce the efforts that you're putting in.
There certainly is, and there's also banners already been ordered for the day we hit that 1,500 pin notices, what are going to go up across the town centre, hanging over the balcony of the town hall, say 1,500 people have been done. Do you want to be the next one? We're not holding back anymore. We've decided enough's enough, and we're going for these people full time.
The recommendations before us, are we all in agreement? Thank you. Now move regulation 4 of the local authorities arrangements to move to into